Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Taroscopes again. This will be the Taroscopes for the sign of Leo. That's Leo Sun, Leo Moon, Leo Rising for the month of August 2023. And of course, it's August, so the Sun is in Leo, and the Sun is Leo is ruled by the Sun. So this is the time for Leos to shine. And the 8th vibration of the month also is connected to the 8 in the tarot, which is the Strength card. And the Strength card is a Leo energy. And on the Tree of Life, it sits along the path that connects expansion and contraction, building and cutting away, balance, balance, balance. The 8 is infinity on its side, right? It's about balance. It's about as you sow, so shall you reap. So this is true for Leos, people who have Leo risings, Leo suns, Leo moons, that something is coming to a head. Something is coming, all your hard work, whatever you've put into whatever it is that you've put into, if it's been for good things and gallant things, then you're going to be rewarded in kinds. But if it was for manipulative, money grubbing, or power grasping, or the more negative things, then you will experience a balancing of that, right? So it kind of depends on what you've put out. So the Sun is there in Leo until the 23rd when it moves into Virgo. And then all that expression, all that beingness, then the rubber meets the road, and you have to start focusing on the work it's going to take to maintain the success that has come to you, because oftentimes you're given a gift that if you don't have enough organizational ability to hold that gift, you may not. Sorry, I live on Main Street and there's a lot of motorcycles that go by in the summer. So apologies for that. Who could blame them? I mean, right? I kind of wish I was on a motorcycle. Well, not quite, but anyway. So we have this energy of the Sun beaming in Leo, and we're at like a peak sun cycle, right? We're at a peak sun cycle. We've been getting all these coronal mass ejections. That's why your internet has been so spotty, and the weather has been so crazy. That has to do with it too. So we are looking at a very potent time, and we just had the nodes of the moon move into fire and air, and so this Leo energy will potentiate that as well. For you Leos, the nodes are now in the North Node is in your 9th house, and it's saying you have to move in the direction of what you know, what you aspire to, what your in a way philosophical teaching. This is for you. This is the time for you to really come in to your teaching and showing the way, Leo. And that is going to go on 2023 to 2025. That's going on for 18, 19 months. And, we have Venus in Leo, and at the end of Leo, along with this trine from the North Node. But we also have the South Node in Libra, and the South Node in Libra is like a renegotiation of relationships and an understanding of relationships, what we understand about how we relate. And does that help us? Do we give our power away in our relationships, or can we accept that we are powerful co-creative creatures and take the responsibility that requires? And sometimes it requires you doing stuff that's hard. Sometimes it requires you doing stuff that you'd rather be doing something else, but you have to do what you have to do. And if this is the time for your sun to shine, Leo, then you need to shine it. You need to shine it, and you need to take, I mean, all this time, Leo, wanting to be the top of the heap, now you're here. Now you're here, and now it takes. So very, very powerful point in time. And for Leo ascendants. And honestly, the astrology stuff, when I talk about it, the astrology stuff is usually more associated with the ascendant. If you have a Leo ascendant as opposed to a Leo sun, but you'll feel it. You'll feel it. You can't help but feel it, especially with everything happening in Leo. So, and the moon is, you know, these readings sometimes when we talk about it, if you happen to have a Leo moon, then a lot of this energy is hitting you in your home, in your, in a way, most vulnerable place. So you have to kind of look at it that way as well, and see how that hits you. You know, your ascendant is kind of when you're Leo ascendant and you're looking at these readings, the Leo ascendant is like, this is the this is like the role that you're being asked to play. But the sun is really more about being. So if you're a Leo sun, these messages are more about your beingness. And if you're a Leo moon, it has to do with your inner sensitivities, right? The Leo moon. The Leo moon wants to be loved. They want to be admired, you know, and they'll go far for the people they love. Leo is a very loving and generous sign. Leo moons are very, very generous with their time. Sometimes you don't even know how they do it, but they do it because they love it. If they love it and they're doing it, then they have energy that you don't have because you're not tapped into their bliss. Right, they're in their bliss, and you can observe it, and you can, as an outsider, you can observe it and see how it works for them. But if it's you, you know, this is there's a lot of energy there with the Leo moon, so it's a lovely moon. I most of the Leo moons that I meet, you like them, and they're very generous, and there seems to be like they'll have a like a magical like place where they can like pull from, right? It's interesting. Okay, so I wasn't expecting to go in that direction. We start with the full moon. Did I say that? Full moon in Aquarius. The full moon in Aquarius, the sun in your first house. This is awareness around relationship. It could be personal marriage, it could be marriage, or it could be business. It could be even just like your friendships. And this is a look at your relationships. And of course, the moon is in the sign of friendship. So this is an opportunity for you to really kind of get a look-see at who your friends are. Who are your friends really, right? So there's that. Let's see what else we have. We have a lot of activity for Leo in the earth houses. All the fire signs, in fact, have a lot of activity in the earth houses. We start the first week, we have the full moon, and then we have a Mars maker trine to Jupiter. Now, trines are free-flowing energy. Mars and Jupiter, Jupiter is expansion, right? So it's expansion energy. Trine Mars. Mars is in Virgo. This could be an expression of aggression, an expansion of aggression in some way. Or it could be an expansion of the work that you do. The energy of it is that what you focus on and put your energy into, it expands exponentially. So that's an important thing to know at the beginning of the month for you, Leo, and for everybody actually. But we also have Mercury making an opposition to Saturn at the same time. This is sort of all happening around the same time. And Saturn says, stop, stop with that. And Mercury is a communication, a way of thinking. It's like none of this. So I feel like on that day, there's going to be like a line in the sand, right? There's going to be a line in the sand. And we can't like lose sight that the Leo rising, that trumps the Leo rising. We can't, so this it also can apply to him as well. But stop, right? And there's been a number of stops. In fact, when what was it? Mars opposed Saturn. That was the day or the next day, right around the same time as we heard about the indictments from Jack Smith, that are going to be around this insurrection, not about the Florida case, right? So we know that this is like boom, hitting hard, and Trump's progressed sun is, I think, around 4 or 5 degrees of Virgo anyway. And so we have Saturn there, like opposite that. So, and it's going to get worse for him. It's going to get worse for him. So there's this, there's this awareness, there's this great potential for energy movement, and then there's this like the word comes down, stop. Like, so it's like a lot. So we're going to expect that this first week is going to be a doozy. We also have Mercury trine Jupiter. Now, Mercury and Jupiter are planets that are associated with the mind. And so when they're in harmony, it's like our intuitive mind and our reasoning mind is working in alignment with each other. And so we can really trust ourselves at this time. And this is actually going to happen 3 times. This is the first time because at the end of the month, Mercury is going to go retrograde in Virgo. And then it's going to go back on this trine to Jupiter. And then when it goes forward, it's going to go over again. So this is a process. So whatever is expressed, it is a process. This is the second week, and on the day before, actually, we have a square between the Sun and Jupiter, and this can be a lot of, and the Sun is in Leo, and Jupiter is in Taurus, and Leo and Taurus, they're fixed. And so there's this energy of necessity with Taurus, and then the energy of expressing the ego with Leo. Excuse me. We have to really be careful that we're not too sure of ourselves at that day, on that day. And that's hard because of all the Leo energy. But luckily Mars, the planet of energy and the ruler of the North Node now, is in Virgo for most of the month, and then it moves into Libra. So while it's in Virgo, Mars is not that aggressive, and so it's more like, yeah, I have to. It can be critical, but I have work to do. Like there's this sense, and I actually even hear it when I watch things on TV and whether online or whatever, political stuff, or mostly political stuff. But most of what you hear is that people are just like, hey guys, are you done yet? Like, can you stop this ridiculousness and let's get down to what needs to get done? And that's the Mars in Virgo. So yeah, people are getting fed up and they want to be helped because they're getting help. See, what's happening is people are starting to feel the help, and they're like, oh, things can change for the better. Oh, I see. When we're invested in. Oh, right. We don't have to go it alone. That's right. That's more, of course, feminine, but that's another story for another day. So I won't get onto that subject. All right. So on the third week, we have the conjunction of the Sun to Venus. That's the highlight of the Venus retrograde. Venus is retrograde in Leo, like all month. And she doesn't go direct until September 3rd. And then she's not out of Leo until October 3rd. So there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made. There are a lot of opportunities that are being given. There are a lot of work ahead, honestly. And the detail stuff, like really getting down to the details, really figuring out what's the bottom line. Instead of just fuzzing around, you have to really know what the bottom line is. And then you come from, then you get to reinvent yourself, because there's a new moon in Leo. And we can all reinvent ourselves with the new moon in Leo, because it's about being who you are, shining the light that you've been gifted. And instead of like hiding it under a bushel in fear, it's like, no, take the bushel off. No more bushels. And you get to reinvent yourself. And things are going to happen. Things are going to move. And things are going to change real quick. After that big shift and change, a lot of energy on that third week. We come to the fourth week, and now it comes to the question is being asked, who are you really, and how are you going to serve? How are you going to serve the common good? That's the question. And it's a question that we all need to look at. We need to start helping each other. I mean, in Russia, in the Ukraine, the Russians are bombing food. What's wrong? What? Really? We're destroying the earth because we disagree with another person. What'd the earth do? Yeah, no, it's got to change. It's going to and it's changing. But we come to this sense of what is my spiritual purpose? What am I here to do? All right. We also have the opportunity with Mercury going retrograde and Sun moving into Virgo, that now is the time to roll up the sleeves. Right now is the time to really go through the books, and then move from there. It's time to get your shit together, quite honestly, Leo. All right. And also, once that decision is made, then there's all kinds of energy for creative transformation, all kinds. Mars in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn. There's some power there. There's quite a bit of power there. And it's depending on, your intention, great things or terrible things could happen, right? Now, I know you guys are going to do terrible things, so I'm not really, it's talking about you guys. But this is the energy that's out there. And so if there's that much potential for, there's that much potential for, and so let's put our energy in the possibility of a different situation, of a different way of doing it, of moving towards love, a return to love. Marianne Williamson's, who's a Leo. No, is she a Leo? No, she's a Sag. No, she's a Capricorn. She's Aquarius. She has Leo. I think she has a Leo rising, or she has Pluto and Leo. I know she has Pluto. I think she has a Leo rising. She kind of looks like she might have that. I've done her chart, I can't remember. So, and then at the end of the month, we have Mars moving into Libra. And for Leo, that's your neighborhood. And so it's time to like renegotiate maybe your relationship to your neighbors or to your immediate environment, start like whatever that means. Whatever that means. And we have a full moon in Pisces. Pisces is your 8th house, Leo. It's a real emotional, I think maybe catharsis for you, or an opportunity for that. An emotional release. It could be joy, it could be grief, it could be sadness. It could be a collective, the final straw kind of feeling, where the compassion is just like, no, we can't do this anymore. This is ridiculous. And the nodes just moved. Pluto squaring the nodes, evolutionary leap. This is it, guys. This is it. So what I've come to realize is that this reading has become a reading for everybody, not just Leos. So I might put this out separately for everybody as well, Leo. So hopefully you don't mind. All right, let us get into the cards. Now, I'm doing Animal Oracle first. I'm using Colette Baron Reed's Spirit Animal Oracle deck. It's hard to see, I know. The lighting, here we go. And we'll see a message for Leo. Leo Ascendant, Leo Moon, Leo Sun. Maybe Leo North Node. Okay. All right, let's see what comes up. Okay. We have Dragonfly Spirit. Dragonfly Spirit. All right. Let me read that from the book. I know dragonflies are the magic of light. It's the fairy realm, I would say. I mean, dragonflies kind of look like fairies. They have their first part of their life in the water, and then the rest of their life in the sky. So it's an interesting life cycle for them. Okay, dragonfly D. I should really go by the what is that, the prefix, the index. Anyway, the table of contents. I just don't do that. I can look through the book. Always look through the book. I love books. I don't mind touching them. Truth transcends illusion. Oh boy, this is for everybody. Oh boy, now I'm gonna have to share this too. Hope you don't mind, Leo. Dragonfly Spirit is here to remind you of the wisdom and truth available at all times in the hidden realms. Just as dragonflies catch your eye with its reflective wings and body, Dragonfly Spirit appears to tell you to pay attention to the truth beyond the illusion and recognize the insight that comes seemingly out of nowhere, peeking through from behind the veil in the realm of spirit. There is far more wisdom than you can perceive with your senses. And there is a deep knowing that you are not separate or alone, for a higher power recognizes you and loves you beyond measure. Fear dissipates as you realize you are embraced by the nurturing force that is everywhere, always in communication with you. alighting when you are preoccupied. Dragonfly spirit offers this message. You exist in unity with all, including the protective spirits who share their wisdom, and you are being nudged along the path your soul needs to travel to have the experience it craves. Love exists in many forms, and sometimes we overlook it when we don't recognize a particular form. Pay attention to the signs now. They remind you that each of us have inspired dreams seamlessly sewn into the fabric of an invisible world. And there is a great consciousness that exists in the seemingly empty spaces, letting the wisdom of the hidden realms inform you, providing insights your conscious mind overlooks. So this is about being in the flow. I was actually watching Democracy Now, and they were talking to Isabel, I think, Allende. She wrote the House of the, I think it was the 10,000 Spirits or 1,000 Spirits. And she was talking, she's a Leo, and she was talking about, and I was looking at her and I'm like, my God, she's beautiful. And I'm like, how she looks so ageless in the video. Maybe I'll attach the video below. It's just, I was just amazed because this kind of talks about like what this Leo energy is about. And she says, and so Amy Goodman, good Aries that she is, says to her, like, what do you do? How do you prepare? And she says, I just I open to my imagination. And then the story comes together, and she does research. But she sees what's like, what the situations are, how she wants to triangulate a story, and then she watches it all come together and she writes it. And it's and the one that the last book that she just wrote is about the wind knows my name. It's about separation of families and how we're still doing that, and in history where that happened. I mean, we're seeing that with when you look at the Catholic, the understanding of what they did to the natives in Canada, and of course in this country as well. Separating children during the Holocaust, separating children at the border, separating families in slavery. Like, who says you can't be with somebody? You know what I'm saying? So it's really but she's a Leo, but this whole imagination thing, I think that's what I'm trying to say. And so you can, you're co-creative, and your imagination is, you can imagine a better world. Can you think of a better world? You think about the world we're in, but you can imagine a better one. And it's that imagination, that power, that is the co-creative power. That is the feminine power, guys. That's the feminine. That's the power of the feminine. A reimagining. And it's time for us to reimagine. And how do you do that? You just imagine what you want to see and watch it manifest. Watch coincidences and synchronicities. It's all vibrational. What are you giving out? That's what you're going to get. And so if you're giving out all these good things, and your whole life you've been giving out good things, and all of a sudden good things are happening, do you trust it? Do you trust it? It's like, maybe in the past it hadn't. But where more has been shed, more has fallen away from us. And so we have more capacity to really create our own reality. And it's not been easy, but it never is. But we can trust that. We can trust the feminine is rising. Uranus, for goodness sake, is in Taurus. I mean, it's like, talk about information coming from the planet. All right. Let us do the cards now. I'm going to use the Spellcasters deck. I've been using it with the fire signs. Enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Okay. We are all ready. Change is here, Leo. Change is here. The wheel is turning. If you've been on top of the world and the cat's pajamas and thinking that you have it all over everybody, boom, down. But if you've been due diligence, applying yourself, shining your light, no matter how difficult the situation has been and how challenging things have been, your luck is about to change for the good. For the good. Let's see the challenge. Oh, the challenge is keeping your balance. I'm just thinking this guy like doing this on the thing, but then add the wheel underneath it. Like I'm picturing this poor fella. Keeping your balance, especially around your resources. And it's not just financial resources, it's physical resources. Don't push yourself too hard this month, okay? We have the 9 of Wands at the root. You are putting a line in the sand. You are saying no more. This is my boundary. You cannot cross it. You have crossed enough. It's time for Mama for some retribution. Putting up the lines. Now, the 9 of Wands, which is this card that we just looked at, is a Sag card. So this can also be people who are, this is what I believe, and this is just what I believe, and there's nothing you can say or do that's going to change the way what I believe. That could be there as well. But I really feel in connection with the other cards, however, that this is more about you have defended your territory, and that's what you're standing on. You're standing on the defense of your territory, whether that is a relationship or who you are, or saying who you are, or not necessarily agreeing with the consensus on things. Like that's hard. It's hard to stand up for yourself because there's a lot of pressure to conform, because there's a lot of fear. People are afraid of change, even though change is usually for the better. In the past, we have the 2 of Wands. So you've done some work, and you've also imagined how your work could expand, get out into the world, telling people hearing about you. Time to take that bushel off your light, Leo. We have the Knight of Wands in the sky. This says, yes, go out and tell your story. Go on your adventure. Experience your life. You will be supported. You will be supported. Immediate future, and also the card for the month, really. And we get the Hanged Man. So you're like, oh no, I thought this was going to be a good reading. The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, you know, a change in fortune, even a change in fortune for the better, is going to create some things that change that you have no control over. And that's what you're going to have to learn this month, is that you don't have control over everything. And so what you have control over, what you can manage, you do. You focus on the things you can do. and you are open to the perspective that spirit wants to give you. It's like spirit is saying, all right, honey, it's time. It's time to do it. It's time to, for things to happen for you. And it's time that you apply yourself to that. How it's seen from the outside. Oh, you're very wise. You're very wise. You know things. You use your intuition. You're very, very wise. And there's a depth here. There's a depth here. And this depth comes from deep introspection on other and self. Your domestic situation. 5 of Swords. There's something you need to be careful of. So somebody's not acting with the best of intentions, we'll say. And you just need to protect your space. So if you have like a Ring, I don't know how they work. So if you have a doorbell that take videos, if there's something, make sure all the wires are good. Make sure you just lock things up at night. Don't give people the opportunities. Maybe, oops, sorry. Maybe you leave an extra light on outside so people can't sneak in, right? Stuff like that. Just be careful of your environment this month. There are people who are not well intended to you. So know that. Remember, there's that Pluto Mars energy. And again, if you're standing up for yourself, not everybody likes that, because then they feel like you're saying something about them when it's really not. You're just saying something about you. Hopes and fears. I'd say this is a hope. And what is that? What is it? Fear? Well, I guess it could be a fear that it's done. I'm done. It's over. So, or it's hope. But it's the end of something. It is the end of something. And it's here. It's happening. There's an end to something, and it's a little scary. But sometimes it's like, oh, I'm free. There's this. Oh, I can breathe. All right. Let me breathe and move forward. And then we end with Judgment. Boy, these cards are really, really powerful, Leo. Yikes. This is rising from the dead, folks. This is the awakened soul. The hand of God or goddess, or perhaps who's the angel? Gabriel blowing his horn to wake up. It's woke is here, guys. Even if certain people in the population ain't digging it, it's here. It can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. And it's about how we're connected and how we have to turn our attention to the things that matter. The things that matter is supposed to have a habitable planet. Underneath it, we have the pain of heartbreak, the healing and balancing necessary after heartbreak and betrayal, and then an ability to be the captain of your own ship. Be the emperor of your own life, and let people be the emperor of their life, and then get together and figure out how we're going to get out of this mess. And we're going to get out of this mess together. But we have to be able to find each other. So shine your light, guys. Shine your light, shine your light, shine your light. Okay, so that is the reading. That was it. Well, I don't know. These things sometimes just happen. But yeah, pretty important. So I hope you enjoyed that, and like and subscribe if you would. If you'd like to become a patron, that's nice. I have a link below. I'm trying to build my business this way, and I was, for years and years, I was seeing patients, as a chiropractor and doing the astrology and stuff sort of as a sideline. But now after COVID and my mother and all, then now I'm here and this is what I'm doing. And I want to do my best to expand in not too quickly, so I'm overwhelmed, but just to really like invest in what I've spent so much time studying and being able to share that with more people. So that's my thing. I have a Leo rising, by the way, and a North Node in Leo. So this whole reading is kind of, I'm reading myself, which is daunting. But you Leos understand, right? All right. So have a great, it's going to be a great month. I'm telling you, it's going to have its issues. It's going to have its challenges. You know, you just have to be careful out there. Just, you know, and like I said, there's like people who don't have good intentions. It could be just a random thing. It's like they don't have anything against you per se. They just like decide to like some, you know, like near you. So just be careful. That's all. Just be careful and have a wonderful month. Take care, everyone. Namaste.